Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how you can edit this portrait step by step. First thing first, as you can see, this portrait needs to be cleaned and we have some messy hair around the head, and I think that we are going to fix this problem. For cleaning, I'm going to use three different tools. One of them is spot healing brush and patch tool. So I'm just going to start with spot healing brush and I will click on clean and black and white help layer. I will click play. After we do this, as you can see, we have two different layers. One of them is clean and one of them is black and white, which helps us to see some details. But for the moment, I'm just going to turn off and I will zoom in the forehead. I think that I will start here on the eyebrows. As you can see, this portrait is looking amazing. Huge thanks to the photographer of this portrait. The name of the photographer is in the description. Also, if you want to follow my step-by-step process, you have to get my actions. Link is in the description down below. Also, for this raw file, you have to subscribe me on my Telegram channel or just click the link. I don't know if you should subscribe it or not, but all the raw files that I'm using for the video tutorials about retouching that I put on YouTube, you can find all of them in my Telegram. So don't forget to check all the links down below because they are for something. And for retouch, the first step is cleaning. So all the process that I will be doing here on the clean is with the spot healing brush and maybe with the healing brush and patch tool. So I'm just gonna speed up this process because I don't want to waste your time, because this is a simple process and I will be using only these three different tools. So don't worry, you will not miss anything. So see you guys in a few moments. And here we are after we have done some cleaning on the face and the hair. Now it's time for some liquify because I think that this portrait needs some changes. So I'm just gonna use liquify. I will zoom in a little and I will use the forward warp tool because I want to make some changes on the eye. I just want to make this kind of in the same shape of the other one. So I will make some little changes on the eye because I don't want to make some big one because I think that it might look not that good. So as you can see, I'm using this tool on the nose too because I think it needs a little touch. As you can see, lips don't need that much, so I will use this tool on the hair just to make them a little bigger. For retouching, I'm using Vacuuming Tools Pro S. It's a great tool for retouch. So if you're using a mouse for the moment and you want to switch to the Vacuuming Tools or some other tablets for retouching, I highly recommend you to get maybe the Vacuuming Tools because it's really great for retouch. And as you can see, the before and after, I think that it's looking good. I'm gonna leave the hair as it is because if I fill up this hole, maybe I think let's just try this and let's see if it's okay. And I think that it's looking good, but I will fill this with the frequent separation technique because I have to work on the skin, on the color, sorry, and on the texture. So this is the reason why I'm not doing it right now. For my opinion, or if you have a different one, you can leave it as it is. I mean, like in originality, you can even leave the hair as they are because this is not necessary. It's just my choice to make some changes on the portrait, and if I think that they fit the process that I will be doing, I will leave it as it is or make some changes. So feel free to do anything you want until you have like some great results in your portrait, and that's it. And after we are done with the clean, I'm just gonna merge these two layers into one. merge layers, and now it's time for dodge and burn in the inverted way. So I'm just gonna click on the dodge and burn. Sorry, where is it? Yeah, here it is. The dodge and burn help check layer. I'm just gonna click play. As you can see, it's in inverted. Now it's time for dodge and burn. So click on both of them and uncheck these layers, saturate and saturate. And as you can see, we have the dodge and burn help check layer. I'm just gonna double click on the levels because I want to make some changes. And for this process, sorry, made some huge one. This process is the inverted dodge and burn way, so we have to burn the darker parts and dodge the white parts. So I'm just gonna start using the burn on the darker parts. Now let's just check a before and after of them both. As you can see, let's just check the dodge. I think it's looking good so far. Let's just zoom in a little, and as you can see that we have done some changes. Let's just check the burn, and we have burned some highlights, so I think that is looking good so far. Let's just check a before and after. Yeah, it's okay. Now just delete this dodge and burn help check layer and merge them both, the burn and dodge, with the background. Let's just check a before and after. I think it's looking good. Now it's time for frequency separation. Let's just click on play. For the right radius, you have to zoom in the where we have some pores of the face or some harsh texture, and we are gonna just slide it into the right until we make some blurry pores, until we don't see the texture, and I think that 8 is enough. Now just open the frequency separation folder. As you can see, we have two different layers. One of them is low frequency, the color, and high frequency, the texture. So first we are gonna start using our mixer brush, my favorite tool for this process, for the low frequency. And for the wet, I'm going by 10, for the low 25, mix 45, and flow by 33. And I will start mixing some skin tones. For example, I'm gonna start on the forehead. As you can see, this portrait has some great makeup, mixing with the flowers and etc, etc. So I'm not gonna use the mixer brush that much on this portrait because I think that I have to leave something originality of this portrait and don't touch the flowers, because if I do this, as you can see, I'm gonna destroy this total process. So be careful when using mixer brush, because this is not what you want to do. For example, if you make some changes that will destroy the portrait, you will have no great results, and all the work that you will be doing on the retouch or in the post-production will be gone. So be careful when you do this process. For the moment, I'm using the Actions Makeup Artist retouching actions that I made recently. Link is in the description. If you want to get them, check the link. Let's just check a before and after of this process. And I think that is looking good so far. As you can see that we have made some changes here on the nose. For example, we have mixing the skin tones between the nose highlight and the shadows on side of it. Side, no, not inside. And let's just zoom in a little. I think that we are gonna use the clone stamp tool for the texture, because we have to clean some texture here. As you can see, I'm using, as I said, clone stamp tool. And for copy paste, I will use Alt. I will hold Alt keyboard by clicking and copying here and paste it here like this. So this is my process of retouching the texture, because you should be very careful when you use this tool, because for example, if you copy the texture here on the hair and you paste it here on the forehead, as you can see, you will do something bad, and this is not why we are here today. And today I can promise you guys that if you stick to the step-by-step process and you get my actions, I promise you that you will have the great results by the ending, just like me. So follow my step-by-step. Don't even skip a second of this tutorial, because if you do this, you will lose some great info, and I can make sure of that, because this is a step-by-step process of all the work I do. So let's just speed up this process of the cleaning with clone stamp tool in the texture, because we have more work to do. So see you guys in a few moments. And here we are after we are done with the frequency separation. Let's just check a before and after. I think that is looking good so far. Now I'm just gonna merge the frequency separation with the background. Now it's time for some different changes. Now it's time for the work on the eye. So I'm just gonna click on the eye plus all in, click play, and click here, open the group. As you can see, we have the remove veins. This is for removing the veins from the white of the eyes or just cleaning them. So I'm just gonna paint it here. Seems that this portrait doesn't need that much work, so I'm just gonna leave this by 25%. The brightening is for the make them brighter. It's for the white of the eyes. This works fine even for the eyeball, but I'm not gonna touch them, so I'm just gonna keep working on the white of the eyes. Lower this by 35 because 100% looks too much. In the eyeball lightning, I'm gonna use a white brush with a 100% opacity, and I'm just gonna paint it inside. As you can see, it's making them look even better. Now just zoom out, because this is how we see the changes, and 100% is obviously too much, so I'm just gonna leave this by 45, I guess. Let's just check a before and after. Yeah, I think it's looking good. For the iris contour, I'm gonna zoom in again with a 100% opacity of brush. I'm just gonna paint it on the contour of the eyes. This works fine even for the eyelashes, so it's a darker layer. So as you can see, we have dark on the contours. Let's just zoom out, check the results. I think it's looking good. This one is the iris color. If you want to change the colors of the eyes, for example, you just have to paint it inside the eyes, and you can double click here and you can change the color of the eyes in the way you want. For example, this green I think looks good, but I'm just gonna stick to the originality of this portrait, and let's just delete this. Now let's just check before and after what we have done so far on the eyes. I think it's looking good. I'm just gonna lower this by 85 because 100% is always too much. So I'm just gonna merge again these two layers. Now click on the smoky eyes, click play, and click on the eyeshadows, click play again, put this on top. Now zoom in into the eyes, and with a 100% brush, I'm gonna paint it over the eyelashes. As you can see, this female on the portrait doesn't have that big eyelashes, and if you want to put them, if you want to put some fake eyelashes, you can do this. It's not a problem, but you have to be careful because they won't look that good as the original of them. Let's just check a before and after of the mascara. I think it's looking good, but as you can see, 65 is too much. I'm just gonna lower this by 25, and I think it's looking good. Now for the smoky eyes, I'm gonna use again a 100% brush and start painting. Now switch to the 40% brush because 100 looks too much. and paint over the eyes. Let's just check a before and after, and I think they look good. But 50% is, as you can see, 100% is too much, and 50% was obviously too much. So I'm just gonna go by 25. And now it's time for the color of the eyes, outside, sorry. As you can see, it says pick a color, so you have to pick a color and you want to paint it over there. So I'm using the color that is from the makeup artist, but you can always change your color or maybe choose a different one. Depends on the choices that you wanna, or the changes you wanna make in your portrait. So I'm just gonna use this color, which is kind of pink into red, something like that, and I will make this look even better. And I think it's looking good. I'm just gonna create another layer from this one, and I will go with a wet brush and 10%. I'm just gonna paint it here in the middle by create some highlights, and I think that they will look amazing. Let's just check out before and after for this one. And yeah, I think it's looking good, but lower this by 20 and check this other one. If you think it's too much, you can leave it. If you think it's too much, you can always make some changes, and if it's not, just leave it as it is. I think that I will copy the color again and paint a little bit more here because I think that needs some more color. Let's just check out before and after. And yeah, I think it's looking good. Let's just lower this a little. Now check the before and after this entire process and merge all these layers because we are done with the eyes. Now it's time for the lips and the teeth. I'm just gonna make them a little brighter. So just click and play, zoom in and paint here on the teeth. Let's just check a before and after from the zoom out. Now zoom in because we have done some mistakes. As you can see, we have painted on the lips and it will desaturate them. Lower this by 70, maybe something like that, and merge again. Now it's time for the lips and the cheeks. So I'm just gonna click play on the action lip and cheeks and start working on the lips first. With a 100% brush, I'm just gonna paint it on the lips because this action make them look even better in the rosy color. As you can see, let's just check out before and after. I think it's looking good, but obviously it's too much. So I'm just gonna lower this by 32. Now click on the lips dodge and burn. This is the dodge and burn for the lips only, and it says pick lips color. So you have to pick the color that is in the lips. For example, this one is the dodge, and we have to pick the color here, which is a brighter one, and start using 10% brush and paint it where we want to dodge. And I think that I'm just gonna dodge around them. As you can see, we are adding some highlights into the lips by making them look even better. Now zoom out if you want to see the changes. As you can see, this one is looking incredible. So I'm just gonna lower this by 50 because I don't want big changes. And this one is burn. It's for the shadows. And you have to pick a darker color. For example, I think this one is good. And start painting with a 10% brush by making them look even better. Let's just check out before and after this one. And obviously this one is too much. I'm just gonna lower by 25. Now put this rosy lips into this folder and check out before and after. If you think that these changes are too much, you can always lower the entire group by 50%. And I think that they are looking good. Now we're gonna work on the rosy cheeks. As you can see, I'm going to use a 20% brush and I will paint it here on the cheeks. We have some problems here on the leaves because I think that we do the painting here. We are gonna make some changes on the leaves, but I will only paint on the cheeks, and with a black brush and 100%, I'm just gonna paint it here on the lips by removing the color that we have added before. Now let's just check a before and after. I think they're looking good, but let's just lower this by 35 because 45 is too much. As you can see, a before and after, I think that is looking good. Now let's just lower this by 25 because 35 I think is too much, and merge all these layers into one. Now it's time to add some lips glow and some soft lips. I'm just gonna put some lips glow first, and with a 100% white brush, I'm gonna paint it here on the lips by making them with a glow look. Let's just check a before and after. I think it's way too much, so I'm just gonna lower this by 10% and merge these two again because this is how my actions work. You have to have only one in the background. Now click on the soft lips, click play, and wait until this process is done. Now zoom in, and with a 100% brush, paint it again on the lips. Let's just check a before and after. Now zoom in again, and I think they look good, but lower this by 20 and merge these two layers into one again. Now let's just check a before and after the entire process, and I think that is looking really nice. Now it's time to add some dodge and burn. Click on the black and white help layer by helping us to dodge and burn. With a white brush, start working with the dodge on the brighter part. So we are gonna add some dodge. Now turn off the black and white if it doesn't help, because this is how we dodge and burn. The black and white, you can see where you have to dodge in the better ways. So this is why we are using the black and white help layer. Now let's just check from the zoom out the dodge. I think it's looking good. Now open this and this desaturate, turn it off. Click on the burn. Now I'm just gonna add some burn into the cheeks, also around the forehead, by making this portrait look even better. I'm just gonna add some burn into the eyebrows by making them look darker. Now let's just check this burn, and I think it's looking good. I'm just gonna add some burn here on the side of the eyes, add some dodge here, add some dodge inside the eyes, open the group of the burn and turn off this saturated layer, and I think that is looking good so far. Now let's just merge them both into one layer and delete this black and white help layer because we don't need it. Let's just check before and after, and I think that is looking good so far. Now I'm just gonna add some sharpen into this portrait. I'm gonna add some contrast, add some face contour, but let's just click on the sharpen, zoom in, and as you can see, it's a black mask. We have to invert it into the white, and as you can see, we have added some sharpness into the portrait, and is way too much, but I will lower this by 50%, and I think it's good. Now click on the basic contrast, turn on, and as you can see, this portrait was in the need of some contrast, and 100% is obviously too much, so I'm just gonna lower this by 50%. Let's just check a before and after, and yeah, I think it's looking good. Now for the contour, base contour, as you can see, we have some contours on the highlights. Let's just zoom in, but I will double click here and work on the highlights just a little, not that much. Now I check a before and after. I think it's looking good. Lower this again because we shouldn't leave it by 100%. Now check all this process and merge into one layer again. And as you can see, this is what we've done so far. I'm just gonna click on the frequency separation again, click play with a 5% radius. I'm just gonna open the low frequency because I think that we are gonna make some changes here on the lips with a mixer brush. I'm just gonna work here by making these lips look even better. By the way, this portrait was awesome even in the beginning without any touch, so huge thanks to the photographer for this amazing picture. Now let's just check before and after what we've done. As you can see, we have made some changes on the eyes, and I'm gonna make some changes here under the eyes with the healing brush. I'm gonna remove this lights, and now I'm just gonna work with a mixer brush under the eyes by creating them a nice look. Let's just check it before and after. I think that is looking good. Now use the clone stamp tool for the texture by copy pasting the texture because we have made some big changes here and we lost the texture. Now we are gonna replace it. Let's just check it before and after. I think is good enough. Now go to the other eye with a mixer brush again. We are gonna mix the skin tones under the eyes by making them look even better. Now turn on this, and as you can see, we have to work just a little on that texture. Now zoom out and you can see the changes that we have done in this frequency separation. And I think it's a little too much, so I'm just gonna lower this folder by 75. And I think that we are good. Now merge again these layers into one. Now check a before and after. And I think that is looking good. Now you can just make some changes here on there on the portrait if you want to. If it's okay, you can leave it as it is. And after we are done with the retouch, now it's time for the color grading. We are using some different color grades. So I'm just gonna click on them one by one until we find the best one for this portrait. And I think that I will stick with the CG3 as you can see, but we have to make some changes inside the layers. So let's just check them one by one because you have to make changes to fit the color grade for your portrait. And let's just check them one by one until we have the best results for ourselves. And as you can see, this was the color grade with some changes. Now duplicate the background layer. We are gonna add some color grades into the camera raw. So let's just open the camera raw. And I will go to the calibration and make some changes in the green and blue primary. As you can see, we are gonna open the color mixer because I want to make some changes here on the green leaves. And let's just check them. As you can see, I'm just gonna make them kind of into blue and leave this as it is. Now go to the saturations and you can desaturate the leaves or make them saturated. Depends on the what you want to achieve on this process. And I think that I will leave the luminance as it is. Now go to the color grade, click on the shadows and play with the wheel until we see the best results for ourselves. I think that this kind of color looks better for us, and this one I think it's good. Now lower the saturation by 10% or depends on the amount you want to put. Now click on the highlights and play again with the wheel until you have that look that you are looking. But I think for today I'm going something into yellow, something like that, and lower this by 10% if you want to make changes just like I am doing. Now click on the midtones and play with the wheel until we have the best results for ourselves. And I think this one is good. Lower this by 5%. Now go to basic and make some changes. I'm just gonna add some contrast and add some highlights, lower some shadows, again add some white and some blacks, add some texture into this portrait. And if you want to add some clarity, you can do this. Click OK. Now check before and after of the color grade with the camera raw. I think it's looking good. Now check the color grade with the actions that we have, and you can see it before and after. I'm just gonna add some few adjustments here by clicking on the color balance, click on the highlights, and I will create some kind of yellow and red tones. As you can see, you can check a before and after. I think it's looking good. Lower this by 20. Now click again on the color balance, go to the shadows, and I will make something into blue, something like this, because I think it's looking good. Now lower this by 20. Click on the selective color, click the blacks, and for the blacks I'm gonna give this kind of blue into green, something like that, but as you can see it's obviously too much. And I think that we are done with color grade. Now create a group from this and rename this color grade. As you can see, we are done with the color grading. You can zoom in and check a before and after process of the color grade, and I think it's looking amazing. Now check the entire process, a before and after. This is the before, this is the after with retouch, this is after with color grade. As you can see, before and after, before and after. You can zoom in if you want to see the changes. And as you can see, we have done some great results. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, guys, and if you think that I'm very helpful about retouching, please consider to subscribe me, leave some comments down below about my skills, about my English, if I am understandable or not. Drop some likes for the algorithm, and don't forget to check all the links I put down below, because there you can find my actions, you can find this free raw file, and I hope you enjoyed. So this is it for today, guys, and see you in the next one. Peace.